Good Morning PD continues now on Live 95.
Welcome back to Good Morning PD Live 95. Thanks to our friends at QAT. Visit their website, teamqat.com. UPS, T-Mobile, Target, Tiffany & Company, and the University of North Carolina all have trademarks on their signature colors. Did you know that, Royal Rev?
I did not.
UPS brown. T-Mobile is orange, kind of a bright orange looking. Am I right?
Or like pink, I think.
Is it pink?
Yeah.
Target would be red. Tiffany & Company, the Tiffany blue. And the University of North Carolina would be Tar Heel blue. And all of those entities and enterprises have trademarks on their signature colors.
I guess that makes sense.
We talked with Dr. Scott Kaufman a second ago about John Brennan, some of the issues relating to Brennan. I watched Meet the Press nearly the entire show, especially the interview that Chuck Todd. Well, I mean, this was a John Brennan show. They gave Brennan as much time as he needed to elaborate for as long as he needed to elaborate. But he's the former CIA director and has been a very outspoken critic of President Trump. Said in the interview on Sunday that he's willing to do whatever he can to prevent others from having their security clearances revoked, including taking the president to court. That's the first time I've heard former CIA director, current political hack, John Brennan, say that. Someone to help us understand that this morning is president of Eagle Forum Fund, former Missouri State GOP chairman, and the author of The Conservative Case for Trump, Ed Martin, is with us. Good morning, Mr. Martin. How are you?
Good morning. Good to be with you. Thank you.
So is John Brennan the consummate patriot, or has John Brennan become the political hack and kind of the leader or one of the leaders of this newfound resistance movement?
Well, I think you put your finger on it. I mean, in America, and God love them, everybody's got free speech and political speech, but that doesn't mean you get to have national security clearances, right? So I think what the president was saying, and let's be clear, guys like James Clapper, who's no friend of the president, or conservatives, and some of the others have actually said, we don't think that Brennan should go quite so far. He's a little bit out of hand because he's just become a political player. So if you want to play politics, John Brennan, then play politics, but you don't get to have your clearance on top of it. So I think that's what's happened. As you point out, he's on Meet the Press for an extended interview. He gets lots of coverage from folks. It just is it's important right now for the country to be able to have confidence that the people that have security clearance are not playing politics with that. I think that's why we're going to see more reform, not less, and more clearance. So there's a conversation that there are up to 4 million people who have national security clearance that have left work of the government or military. That sounds crazy, but let's get to the bottom of it.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Martin. I found out Saturday or Sunday something that I hadn't known previously, and that is that if you have security clearance, you're a hotter commodity in Washington. Some of the boards, some of the board of trustees or corporate boards that almost insist you have this security clearance. So it is very much in John Brennan's personal best interest to maintain his security clearance.
Well, that's right. And the president tweeted about that. And he said, it helps people get on boards and get jobs and all. That's obvious, right? I mean, when you put up John Brennan's face on MSNBC or NBC, you're not putting underneath his name really clever Irish American who makes good arguments. You're saying former CIA director. People, especially in the swamp, they use the swamp credentials to trade on things. Now, again, if you have a credential, you got a college degree, you get a certification, you should be able to use it. Former CIA director is still a credential. But using your current national security clearance, as you point out, it's a valuable thing. It has an impact on employers and your interaction. And kind of more importantly, what does it mean you get? If you have a current national security clearance, can you walk into buildings that you and I couldn't walk into? Can you enter computer database that you and I didn't think we could? If that's the case, it sounds like we ought to have a better system about it. And again, look, somebody said, well, President Obama needs to be briefed. Obviously, there'll be people that have to keep their clearance based on who they are and the role they play. But it can't be every political guy that goes on TV whacking away.
Last question. Do you think that Trump will revoke any other security clearances? There are a number that are up for review. We saw the roster of suspects there. From your perspective, I hesitate to ask you to make a prediction, but I guess I'm asking you to make a prediction in regards to some of the others. Yeah. What is your opinion there?
I think that President Trump has shown that he uses his bully pulpit and leadership to start a conversation, and he is not afraid to keep it going. In other words, he has identified some others. I think that there's some chance that others will be revoked. I also think there's some likelihood now that the larger conversation is going to lead to the public, meaning Congress and others, to force this conversation also. And so I think there will be some. It'll probably be less than the roster of 9 that he put out there. But I do think that there's going to be some. And again, the American people want our president to give us a confidence in the system. And if people want to be political actors, go ahead. That's good, right? America loves it. But just kind of move that direction. So I think there will be some more revocations, yes.
Mr. Martin, thank you for your time. Appreciate the insight.
Thank you, sir.